Did you want waffles?
Good morning, everybody.
Hi. Hi. What's happening? Already? Did we not make it like we didn't make it a few seconds?
Why am I hearing?
Is
I'm
it me
hearing my
again?
own audio repeated back to me? Why do I hear my own audio?
Do you have like the stream open and it's not muted?
That's almost definitely what it is. Figured it out. There we go.
Okay. That's a trip, but not a full fall on your face. Like
Oh my goodness.
That can't count as like a full audio. Like, that's not a full
I
fumble.
was opening it up so I had the chat open so I could see our beautiful people and talk to them. I'm sorry.
For the audio listener, he's crying, ugly face crying.
It's the only crying I know how to do.
Yeah. How's it going, everybody? Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to the Pact, everybody.
It is Monday. We had a full weekend of life and Super Bowl and other things that have happened. We're wearing red because tomorrow's Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
We're feeling the love.
Yeah, the season finale of the sports ball happened yesterday.
That's the best way to put it.
And I saw a lot of great cosplays of people's favorite players.
Well,
yeah.
What was your favorite?
I saw a lot of my Mahomies out there wearing all that Chiefs gear. I know that is dangerous. I mean, do you want to go on record? I'll go on record. I'll let you stay ambiguous if you want to. I'll go on record as living in South Central Pennsylvania. I could not possibly care less about the Eagles. But I have been to a Chiefs game and I do enjoy them. So
I married into a diehard, decades long diehard, not like in recent times diehard, a decade long diehard Chiefs family.
Nice.
So like this is their like golden era, I guess, because they're winning Super Bowls now.
Yeah.
But also one of the guys on the team, Pacheco, is from where I live.
Oh, cool.
So he came to my library and I remember calling my father-in-law and I was like, yo, that guy's literally here. The guy that was just drafted out of high school, or out of college, he's like here right now. And my father-in-law came with gear and shit, like just a bunch of stuff, got random crap signed, met him, pictures, and then also gave him a mug, like his favorite mug. He's like, yo, this is going to take you to the Super Bowl. And then his first year in, he goes to the Super Bowl. And now my father-in-law is positive it's because he gave him that mug. It's due to his mug. And if there's a parade in my town, he wants to be on a float. Like he wants me to somehow get him on a float. Like he's like, I've never been on a float, Junie. Get me on a float. So like my mission right now is to somehow get my father-in-law onto a float.
That's incredible.
We are a TTRPG podcast. Everybody.
In case you couldn't tell,
we're a thing. We're a morning show.
Yeah, in case you couldn't tell by us diving into the Super Bowl conversation.
Yes. News. We cover news, and unfortunately for everybody, this is the news. This is what it is. It is the Super Bowl. There was commercials. They give me inspiration for new creative TTRPGs, as we call them, terpages.
The terpages.
Terpages. If that's not, does anybody call it that? I'm gonna do it.
I don't think so.
We're doing that. That's how we say it. I'm speaking
TM,
for Hunter.
TM. That's ours.
What?
Davy Jones wants to know if it's a root beer and orange Fanta float that your father-in-law wants to be on.
Yes.
Root beer is the correct answer there.
I don't want to be inflammatory on my views of root beer. I'll just sip.
Oh, do you not like root beer?
I'm gonna sip my coffee and I'm just gonna be over here.
We'll get into that at some point. we're gonna have Patreon content at some point that's just gonna be Junie going off on a rant about why he doesn't like root beer. If you wanna rant on,
I don't want the medicine soda. Never mind.
if you wanna rant on root beer, I'll rant about how I hate Coke. And we can we can just go off.
Coke versus Pepsi and other things,
just
or
both.
cola in general.
Cola in general. Give me a Dr. Pepper. Pepsi and Coke are both bad.
Man, I didn't think you were dumb.
We are starting this morning with hot takes.
It's nothing but hot takes and has nothing to do with our
nothing
theme.
to do with the TTRPG theme or
Valentine's Day. Like
Day,
this is just hate. We're starting the Valentine's episode with hate, and I apologize in advance to everybody. Because that's not what we're about. We're about love.
Hot takes and cold drinks, says Davy Jones.
Yeah, that's yo. We're changing the episode title for the upload. But yeah. So
yeah.
I'm not gonna say too much other than just gonna zoom into my face for a second.
Look dead into the camera.
I'm not a fan of root beer. And I'm gonna reset my camera now just because I can do that. I'm up there.
I do love root beer, but I have to be in a very mood for it, and it has to be the right root beer. There is some very bad root beer, but
a mood for root beer.
That is where I feel like we can leave that conversation.
We need to. We're
done.
We're according to this doc, we're at that limit where it's like, all right, come on. We didn't even. We barely.
The schedule.
It literally says introduce ourselves.
Nonsense.
And like it says Valentine's Day. We haven't put any of this stuff.
About it
I usually open up tabs for like the news. Hey, did anything cool in the TTRPG world happen? If it did, we didn't even look. It was just the Super Bowl and hatred of the things.
I do appreciate Shiny's summary so far of the show, which is "Go Chiefs, fuck cola."
Yo, there's like some really good episode titles. Because hot takes, cold drinks. And
Go Chiefs fuck
cola is
also
really
very good. Yeah,
it was a real solid. So thank you for that.
Off to a great start.
All right, this is what the doc is for. What are we going to talk about today, Hunter?
For those of you who don't know, tomorrow is Valentine's Day. If you are not somewhere that celebrates Valentine's Day, or you just personally don't celebrate Valentine's Day, nonetheless, it is tomorrow. So at least when we're doing this show,
as recording this, yes.
If you are listening to this later, tomorrow may not be Valentine's Day. Do your own research, find out. But it may not be Valentine's Day tomorrow.
It's the Valentine's season, the same way where like Christmas, whether you celebrate or not, there's the season, and it's just the time. Everybody knows this is roughly that time that happens. That's that thing.
Is that just the whole month of February?
For Valentine's Day?
Yeah.
No.
Is it It's February.
It's a couple days before after, because if it's like a weird day, then it's just like, oh, we have to celebrate Valentine's Day on the weekend, or like we're not, like my wife is working, so we're not like it's a Tuesday,
right?
So
yeah, Grace and I did our Valentine's Day like celebration stuff yesterday.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
So that we because we'll both be working on Tuesday, and then we're like, well, we'll keep it simple. We'll go out to dinner, that stuff. But we did our actual like exchanging gifts and stuff like that yesterday.
That's cute.
Yeah, it was fun. We kept it real simple. This year we combined our Valentine's Day gifts and our birthday gifts to each other. We're combining any presents we would buy for either of those, and instead bought ourselves season passes to the local amusement park that's near us. So we can go there all summer. So we're excited for that.
Nice.
That will immediately turn into any date night we have for the entirety of the season. Is just you want to go ride roller coasters for like 2 hours? Cool, let's do that. Which should be very, very fun. But yeah, it was a good time.
Hey, good morning, people joining us.
Good morning.
Thank you for coming in here. It's fun seeing people join us and whatnot. You could join us live Mondays and Fridays, 8 a.m. 8 in the AM Eastern time. I repeat, 8 in the mother flipping AM.
That is what the
that's
schedule
time.
says.
That's what it is. That's what we do. And yeah.
Our topic today, because we wanted to stay somewhat relevant to Valentine's Day and all of that. So we were like, what better way, instead of talking about like anything actually related to Valentine's Day or something in that wheelhouse, we're instead talking about beach episodes and downtime and that sort of stuff for TTRPGs.
Yeah.
So, Junie, what is a beach episode? Do you have to go to the beach? Is that mandatory for a beach episode?
No, it is always bonus. It's like a date
Bonus
night with
beaches.
Yeah, it's like a date night with your group. You get to unwind. You get to see them in a space or a light that they wouldn't normally get to see themselves. And beach episodes in anime, that's always the thing that I'm most familiar with, where it's basically, the very important critical threat still exists, but not this moment. This episode, this whatever it is, there is a gap, there's a pause, there's a respite where you get to just wear an outfit that isn't the same thing you've been wearing this whole time. And the threats are much more minor, like oh no, a goblin stole the meat for tonight's feast and we gotta get it back. It's very low stakes, and they get to just be normal for a little bit, and that might be boring, where it's like, oh, it's just normal mundane problems. That's not what you play a game for. But when the stakes are dragons and fire and magic and all that stuff, throwing that type of character into a normal situation, they can still do all that stuff, and they're applying all that stuff to a normal situation at that point.
When they've been dealing with the end of the world for like months of real world gameplay time, a beach episode is a great way to break that up. What are some of your favorite? Do you run beach episodes regularly? Do you have a go-to? What is your beach episode that you throw at people?
For me, it's real situational depending on the setting, but I think a universal one that everybody will have experienced, because it becomes this and it's just a different name. It's just essentially a shopping trip.
Yeah. Shopping episodes. Yeah.
Shopping episodes, it's not even that was the intention, but everybody knows that it can just drag out. Depending on the game master, it could be they have a list prepared. Sometimes they don't, and they're kind of rolling with whatever you have going for, investigation checks, all that stuff. That's my big thing. I'll roll, see even if you can find something, and if you did, you rolled well. I want to make sure that time and those rolls are rewarding. But that takes time. And then there's people that are different levels of role play. I've had people that they just kind of want this, do a roll or two, and then they want in and out. Other people want to have that exchange with a shopkeeper, the gypsy, the weird merchant that's like under a bridge. But that's all a setting where now they're just customers and they're in a mall. So once again, not crazy high stakes. Now, if they're wheeling and dealing because the fate of the world, that's still gonna be a part of them in the situation. But it is them doing a normal thing. They're not there actively fighting something, and it becomes a verbal battle maybe, but it is them doing that. And when we think of beach episodes, it's literally just you're replacing armor for bikinis and bathing suits and just like casual suits. Man, give them suits. Put everybody in a little
I love
nice
a formal night in a beach episode.
I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah, but it gives them time to just do that stuff that they can't do. If the party never has a chance to flirt with anybody, maybe this is that night where they finally get to hey, who's that? What's this? Is somebody flirting with me? Yeah, you're cool too. And people would talk to you and spit game to you if you weren't constantly fighting dragons and trying to save the world.
Right. Yeah.
So this is like, I am dope. And it's just reinforcing like you're dope in all the ways, not just in the you fight things and throw fire. It's like, no, you would be awesome if you were just out there normally. and this is the life that you could have. Like finish it could be like a carrot where it's just like, hey, you can have normal life too at the end of at the end of all this. What about you? What do you have a go-to you like to throw at people?
So I've run a few that are like, I wouldn't say go-tos, but like the things that I've ran multiple times. One of them is I built a beach resort in my home world specifically for the intention of like, I want to be able to send adventuring parties to this beach resort to like just have a week that they're like, yeah, we just finished up this one campaign, and we're gonna start up this new campaign. But like, let's send them to this resort and let them relax for a week and recoup and stuff like that. And usually it's something that like the people they've been doing work for will send them to the resort. So they're like, they've been serving the lord of the land for a while, and the lord's like, hey, you guys have been great. Thank you so much for your work. Let me send you to this resort as a thank you. And the first episode, and I don't know about you, I always refer to my sessions as episodes. It's just funnier to me. So the first episode is always like a standard beach episode. Some like they're getting in, they're enjoying it, like they're learning what they're going to be doing, like all of that stuff. But they're there for a week. So the first episode is them like settling in, and then the second episode is where things start going wrong. So I do beach episode mini arcs, where like they get to the beach and then something starts happening. Something starts going wrong. Like
a Scooby-Doo type of situation where it's like oh, the resort is fine, and then it's haunted.
Yeah, so my favorite run through, because I do it differently every time. It's always the same like staff, and it's always the same resort, but every time I run through it, I do it a little bit differently. But what I did my favorite time was I sent the group there. They met all the staff. They got to know everybody. They learned the layout of the resort and stuff. And then they found out that there was this whole area that they weren't allowed to go into, that had been reserved for a private event. And come to find out, it is like the king's family are at this resort while they are there. And then things start going badly, like somebody winds up dead and stuff like that. And the resort's like, we need extra security on hand for like the king's family is here. We need to make sure that they are protected. We need extra security. So they hire the adventurers to like look into it, see if you can find out what happened. We like the body turned up. We got rid of the body. Nobody needs to know, as if that was all that it was. But like look into it, see what you can find. And then it becomes this like interrogating different NPCs and stuff like that of like, where were you on the night of this day?
It's a murder. You do a murder mystery.
I do a murder mystery beach episode. Yeah. But my favorite part about it is there is an NPC that they meet who's a Goliath, just this absolutely massive Goliath, wearing an obviously fake mustache. And if the players interrogate him, he will give them his business card that says that his name is Mike Normal Man, and his occupation is assassin, and then assassin is crossed out and it says business guy. And if they interrogate him, he's definitely an assassin, but he's there for completely unrelated stuff. He's just
vacationing. He's taking a break from the killing. Oh gosh.
But like he definitely seems like the bad guy. So that one's my favorite, is the murder mystery beach episode.
I have written something down on the doc for next week, or for Friday, essentially. Because there's something that you and I both do, and this is a little teaser for everybody else. We have common things that kind of transcend a lot of our games, either if it's a shared world or if it's one shots with different groups. Hunter and I run games professionally for people. I usually have this guy. I usually have XYZ, and
Yeah.
I don't wanna ruin it, but I usually have a very dumb, like a red herring character named Draven, and he, more or less, sum it up, he's just in a corner eating bread, like
Amazing.
and I just
Yeah.
go like, he's just, you're pretty sure he's been gnawing on the same piece of bread this whole time, and it's just, he's like a gossip column artist, like he's just likes people watching. That's all.
Mhm.
He's harmless, but he is the most creepy skeevy, like whatever, and it's just, they're like just eating bread the whole time, and then the whole, like, it's usually new players are like, oh man, this is the bad guy, it's like, that's how it starts, with them being suspicious of the bread guy, and it's just like, no, I'm just watching, and he just has to go away, that's it. But reoccurring NPCs, I titled a segment for next week, for Friday, we meet again, reoccurring NPCs.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
I think
that'll be great.
Yeah.
We will definitely talk more on that. I do want to share one other NPC from the murder mystery. Is a half orc. He is the son of a nobleman. Who is like the bastard son. Like he's his dad is like, "Ooh, you can't be here." Sort of vibes between him and his dad, but his dad is incredibly rich. So this half orc has access to all the money in the world. So that's
generous.
He just goes and like parties and stuff like that. He's just essentially being paid off to not show up. But he's I play him as a surfer bro, and his name is Ripto McRiptide, and he is just this like half orc who's like, oh dude, that's crazy, like we will catch some waves, and it's
is he from Iceland? Like, hold on. There's not just the surfer cadence there. There seems to be an accent as well. Where are they from? Where's your setting?
Intentionally ambiguous.
Oh, I love that more. That more. It's just like, you can tell there's something.
It's
but
like
you aren't sure what.
It's a surfer bro, but he's definitely not like Cali.
There's I love it.
It's like bad Ninja Turtle impression is kind of what I'm going for with that character.
That's really good. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Oh man. Shiny says the names, man. Yeah. So here's the thing. With a beach episode, I go hog wild on the names of characters, because you've got like so many really well-named characters in the rest of your game. In a beach episode, it is your opportunity to introduce like some of the dumbest characters. It's also your because it is designed to be a break, a release from the rest of the game. So anywhere you can change things up is a good place to do it. I introduced a character recently whose name was Josh Smith. Like that is his name. He died one session later. Like it's
I will also say
nonsense. Throw nonsense names out there.
I will say that for every dungeon master, this is also terrible advice and or a nightmare scenario, because only because I do the same thing, and I know you've been in this situation and you have never told me this, but I know you have, because you have had players that are people, and whenever you throw out a character,
most of my players are people.
Yes, whenever we throw out a player, there's always that chance that NPC becomes a favorite, becomes a lifelong member of this campaign, and it is not intended. And I have had lists. I printed out lists of names to just have in case I ever need to throw out. I've had like random name generators in case I ever need them. And it's just I'm a very big in the moment. What does the story tell me? And it's almost like that inspirational moment of like, this is what their name is, and just like their name becomes whatever there is at that moment, and then that'll be the character that the players latch onto all of a sudden,
Yeah,
and then it's like I wish I'd have put more thought into it,
yeah.
or like, oh no, and it just happens, and it's always
You,
it's always a
if you
crapshoot
throw
with it,
out if you throw out your Boblin the Goblin,
Exactly.
like, Boblin the
Yeah.
Goblin is now a part of the team.
Exactly. So yeah, one of my favorite little games to run is a Candlekeep mystery called Candlekeep Destruction, and there are cultists that have barnyard themed names. Like alpaca macadamia nuts, chicken peach, and all this stuff happened, and I'm running a one shot, and I like just somebody, and this has to do a little bit with romance, and we're not going to tap dance into like the freaky like problematic areas that charm person can have, but somebody cast charm person on one of these cultists, and it was a matter of I was saying, hey, do you do it like, hey bro, how's it going, or are you charming them and it's a little more romantic? And she was like, oh no, it's romantic. This person then felt new things, and because the team was not being aggressive to them, the rest of the cultists were just like angry at that one cultist. So this cultist is like, yo, everybody else that's in my group is against me, but you guys are cool. So this person had like a total change of heart, and Chicken Peach now became like the party like all liked him,
Right.
and it just ended with a situation of they had to go back home, and I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna like just totally mess this up for this person. I was like, roll, and if you roll well, he's on your side of the portal, and like, I'll end it with, hey, you get Chicken Peach and you get to go off on the sunset. And it was a 1. And I was like, you look at him on the other side of the doorway and you see the portal shine, and then you realize that he's on the other side, and he goes up and he runs into it, and you can't hear him. And it became this tragic, sad music moment between this bard and Chicken Peach. Yo, yeah, and that's how we went off. Like that's how the episode, the one shot ended, with a sad, we miss Chicken Peach. Like, we did it, but now it's gone. It was heartbreaking,
right.
And it's not how we wanted to do it. But you can fall in love with anybody, and then you have to remember, like, it's always like oh man, if you like when we named my daughter, it was a huge thing of like, what do? We don't want to ruin her life and have her one day go, why'd you name me blank? You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's just like, we don't think about all these characters, and then all of a sudden it's just like this became the pivotal character of this episode, and it was Boblin the Goblin, it was Chicken Peach, I mean, it was
one of my like we talked about the like beach resort. One of my other go-tos is I do mini arcs for my beach episodes because it's more fun for me.
Sometimes we gotta do stuff for us, like we have to.
It sticks in the continuity of the world better too for me. Like if we're doing like one episode where we're gonna go and then we're gonna come back and dive back in, as opposed to like, let's do this like little thing. Thanks for the follow, Lonely Bard. Appreciate it. The one of the ones that I'll do is I combine a casino heist beach episode. So they are like sent to this casino with the intention of like, you need to get this thing from the casino. But part of that is just finding the lay of the land, figuring out what is where, going through all of that. So they end up being at this casino and just like booking rooms and being at the casino and taking part in all of the like stuff that is happening there for like a couple of days before they ever like carry out the heist, just for planning purposes. One of my groups went and did that, and one of my players was like, I want to go to like, it's like a fancy casino. I assume they have like a brothel portion of the casino. I was like, absolutely. So they were like, I want to find somebody at the brothel. I was like, absolutely. They go up to the person who is like running the brothel and they go, give me just the weirdest little freak you have.
Valentine's Day, everybody. Valentine's Day episode.
Yeah, this is the Valentine's Day episode. And give him gold and stuff like that. Goes to their room to wait. And I was like, okay, who do I want to be just this like this nasty little boy that's gonna go do this. And so I decided on a goblin. And it like the door to the room opens, and it's just this like 2 foot nothing goblin just like seductively leaning on the doorpost, wearing nothing but a Speedo, just incredibly oily everywhere, just covered in oil. And the player asked them their name. And I was like, for whatever reason, I completely blanked. I was like, I have no idea. So I named him Roger. This is Roger the Goblin.
Middle name the, last name Goblin.
Absolutely. This is Roger the Goblin. Over the course of the time that they were in this casino, like doing the casino heist, they like this character and Roger like just kept meeting up. And so by the time they left, they were like, Roger, come with us. And like took Roger and left and went on their way. And like that character had a relationship with Roger the Goblin, who was just consistently oily. It was
they're always oily?
Just always oily. You always like slipping over everything. If they've walked down a hallway recently, you can see their footprints. Like they are just constantly covered in oil. We never really looked into like why. But it was a long stretch that Roger the Goblin was with the group. Artemis redeemed posture check and hydrate. So if you got water,
thank you.
Drink it. If you've got a spine, adjust it.
Well, I'm definitely thirsty after that. Like,
that is like I had a group. I don't know if I won't call them out. Somebody was in my chat in the chat earlier that was in a group that I would have said was my horniest group. For a long time they were my horniest group. This group with Roger the Goblin took that title and ran with it. They're by far the thirstiest group I have.
This is
Rosie said, "Don't question Roger's skincare regime."
Yeah, no, this is something that I wonder if you could have done this to flavor enhance this, because this is something I do. I found because I do a lot of mental processing whenever I'm running a game, and something I know sometimes that helps me unload some of that or not have to lift as heavily is how I describe things, and it can be a little bit of a cheat or like a lazy hack, a life hack, but it is like you just describe them in the simplest terms and let the player do the other heavy lifting. So I know I would have been like, yeah, oily, and then just go, they are what you may define as frustratingly handsome.
Yeah.
And then you don't have to describe the features and whatever. Right. They have to do the mental lifting of what would be frustratingly handsome, and now they have a chiseled jaw. And then I'm like, and then you ask them to do it, and you are making them part of the world building. You are figuring out what they're into, which is a fun little mind trip. But just you undo that so you don't have to, but you get them to be a participant. You make it a collaborative experience. Absolutely. I know that one of my favorite things is whenever there's a curse or whenever there's a I have some item I throw in a lot of times where it's just happiness ice cream. Whenever they see I describe it essentially like a white confection of some sort. You feel it, it's cold, and I have to find new and creative ways to describe ice cream. But then I always say that it's like you hear the faint laughter of children, so it sounds haunted at first. You know what I mean? At first you're like, oh, this is haunted ice cream. No, but when they have it, I go, what's your happiest memory? Like
Rafiki, thank you for chiming off. I thought I was going insane.
Oh, did I already talk about this shit? Oh,
you definitely have talked about this.
Okay, my bad.
Already. And this is episode 3.
Man, all right. Well, all right. My bad. For the people that are new to the show, I have happiness ice cream, and it's amazing. and you do
man.
that. You know what? This is the pain point of doing it. To having a live audience that people hold you accountable.
Yeah. Hey, I got called out. Where to go? I got called out by Good Snowy
I'm a proper
Night
dad.
saying,
Yeah. Here's my
Good
girl
Snowy
dad
Night
mug
saying,
right here.
I feel like horny groups is a theme for me. And to that I say, I don't seek out horny groups.
That would be a problem. That would be weird.
Something about my GMing style does attract horny groups, and I think what it is just
your profile picture in a Speedo.
Yeah, I mean it could be that. No, I think what it is I'm just a very like yes and GM, and I am a very creative person. So if you throw something at me to try and throw me off, I throw it back at you to try and throw you off. And that quickly escalates. And so groups very quickly show how horny they are in my groups.
I know we said we weren't gonna talk about this, but I think I have a safe story that can kind of, and you just literally go this if we gotta cut this. But have you ever had a player?
If it gets out of line, I'm just gonna throw us to ads.
Yeah, fair, yeah, because we gotta do an ad, yeah. But it is have you ever had a player?
Okay.
What's happening? What's being redeemed?
Be very careful. 2 people just redeemed. This is a family show, which means for the next 15 minutes, no swearing.
Okay, that's fine. This is perfect because this involved.
Be very careful. This needs to be child appropriate.
Okay, yes.
That was the perfect redemption point for those points. Well done.
That's
guys.
really good. Yes. So, have you ever had a player that wanted to take an NPC out on a date?
Yes, absolutely.
So, there was definitely a player. They were a younger player, and he was newer, so I guess he like really dived into like the DMG and stuff like that. And he was just like, they knew they had some downtime, and it was I want to roll for carousing, and I had never heard no one says that, right? And so to say, and I was like, I'm the DM, like you don't tell me that you like what? Okay, sure, go ahead, roll for carousing, and it was you find you land in a whirlwind romance, right? And then it was kind of like a one roll, like a 1 to 10 or something like that, or a D20. And it was the higher the roll, the whatever. And he rolled like a natural 20 or a 10, and it was like true love. So I had to go, what do you think? Like, who would you think? And it was a younger player, but it wasn't a younger group. But out of the group, they were the younger player. And it was just, what do you think your character would consider beautiful? Because there was no preferences, and that had never happened. And they had said, I don't really know, I don't care, as long like maybe just he'd like somebody with red hair. And he was like a barbarian. He was I forgot what race he was. It wasn't a Goliath, it was like something else, but he was like 7 foot tall, whatever. So I was like, it'd be funny. So it was like a tiny gnome.
A gnome,
like they were at a dock, and then like a woman was just like, all right, put the barrel over there. She had a clipboard, removed her bandana, and like long flowing red hair came out. So and I was just like, it was like slow motion, and it was like a true love type of moment. And I was just, she's the most beautiful person you've ever seen.
That's so good. And
what happened was, it was a very sweet progression of, her name was Mimi, and it was a sweet progression of like, he wasn't trying to be like overly whatever with it. I didn't make him do any charisma rolls because it was just like very genuinely nice and wholesome, the approach where he would like try to like give her flowers and stuff like that. And it was the realest moment I think I've ever had in a group, where at one point he singled out like the rogue or something like that, and it was an Australian guy. And he asked him, so what would you do to go on a date with somebody, or to like, what do you do for somebody you like? And everybody, including me, froze because the line was blurred of who was asking. If it was the character, or him. Yeah. And it was the sweetest thing ever. And it was just genuine advice, like, get her flowers, or just like have a nice meal and talk and get to know her. Cute. And and they had a nice dinner, and we probably spent more like a disproportionate amount of time in this this downtime section on him, but nobody cared because it was just like nice.
Mhm.
And as far as like the spiciest thing, it was like I think she baked a bunch of pies, and that was like that was a gag. But like they just talked, and that was it. And then I had like
That's
a
very
fadeaway cutaway moment where like if anybody alluded to anything or whatever, like that can be like whatever. But like I wasn't gonna go into any weird details,
Mhm.
but it was a nice date.
Yeah.
And it was wholesome. It wasn't anything bad. Am I allowed to curse yet? I
No,
was like,
not yet.
and then not that I want to, but it's just funny. But it was just a nice, safe date, and everybody was on board with it. It wasn't like,
Mhm.
it's like, oh, we gotta spend time waiting for the bar to seduce this person and try to get every barmaid, and like, it was like actual romance. And it wasn't just because like he rolled for it and I wasn't gonna force it on them, but
Right.
like, they were like, you want to roll for carousing, this is what you get. And they took it and they didn't abuse it. It was a romance built, and then they actually tried to nurture it and let it and foster it and like actually let that flame grow, and not in a, well, he made it so they fall in love with me, so now I just have a love interest now that they're down
Right.
for me. It was like, no, they both played it like safe. And then even when they were out on a mission, he was like, yeah, it was like, I want to get this for Mimi. Like it was cute.
That's so
It
cute.
was nice. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was
I
a
love a
situation.
player
And he was
who's
the
like,
barbarian. He was the
yeah,
barbarian. It was just like softy in the inside. It was great.
yeah. I love a player who's like, I'm gonna buy this thing for an NPC. That's so cute. I'm gonna put Mel on blast. You know Mel.
Mhm.
From the Hooligans. I'm gonna put Mel on blast. Mel's character in one of the games I run with her in it. That character, every single time a new NPC is introduced, rolls a d20 to see how attractive she finds them. And it's always after I've already described like who they are,
Oh, that's
what they look
funny.
like and stuff.
That's a
It's
power
just
move.
it's just roll a d20. How attractive do I find this person? And
That's
does it.
interesting.
Recently, she was on watch and she's like looking out. They're in this like city of the dead. She looks out through the window and she sees this like massive figure just sort of standing out in the street watching
Mhm.
the house that they're in, and then it like moves back into the shadows, and she goes, well, I gotta roll the d20, and rolls it, and rolled a nat 20.
Okay.
And then like they ended up fighting that person, who then like took most of them out and then teleported away. And
Okay.
she was like, I feel like after all this has happened, I should re-roll that d20. I was like, absolutely, go for it. She rolled it again, another nat 20.
Oh my
So
god.
then it became like, this is her true, like this is her true love.
But
She
they
can't
never
let
got a
them.
good look at them? Was that what?
No, she got a good
Oh,
look
okay.
at them. It was just that like when she saw him originally, he was just a person in the street,
Okay, okay, yeah.
and then she found out that he was an enemy, so she's like, I have to re-roll. Um, but they ended up going through this like whole thing. He's now traveling with them, like they turned him to their side.
Oh.
And so it's been a very fun ride. She does have a habit of like anybody I would ever introduce who was like a character I introduced with the thought of, I think that character will really like this character. It
Mhm.
never fails that it will roll horribly. But any character that it would be like hugely inconvenient for them to like this character,
Mhm.
they roll really well. So it's, oh man, it's so good. I love it so much.
That's fantastic though. I
We
love that.
we should
I was gonna say
move into our ad.
I was gonna say do you
Um,
want to go into your to the first ad? You were the one with the ad today. I
yeah,
don't have one locked and
if
loaded.
if you think of one,
Mhm.
you're welcome to do that. Let me go ahead and switch to our ad music. Um,
We have a doc, you guys. We have like, this
we're
is
so
we're so
we're so
professional.
organized.
This is legit, y'all.
Okay. This morning's show is brought to you by tiny elves that creep into the studio at night and cobble together an outline for caffeine-fueled madness. Thank you, tiny elves. This show would be at least 70% more incomplete if you weren't here. That's it. That's my whole ad.
All right, I do have one. I have
Yeah,
one
go
here.
for it.
Today's episode is also brought to you by love. That's it.
End of ad.
Yeah. Love brought you this episode.
If you are interested in sponsoring the show, if you want an ad,
we did change our ad policy that it involves not tricking us. That's
it
like
does
the
involve
first.
not tricking us.
That is like the first one. We need a lawyer.
But
we should really.
If you want to put an ad on the show, if you want to have a specific character call out, or if you want a product that you're boosting, or a Kickstarter, or whatever, get in contact with us. We're happy to do real ads. Sweet Rosie B said you got sponsored by Love. Lucky. Yeah. Love contacted both of us about doing an ad, and we said sure.
I was a hard sell. I was like, I don't know.
You were very difficult to convince to do it.
It
took a lot of finagling. Yeah. Oh man. But yeah, if anybody out there is like, hey, these two, let's see, what time are we at? Yeah, perfect. These two chuckle fucks seems like they know what they're doing. Let's give them money to talk about things. Absolutely, send it our way.
We won't talk about sex. I don't want to curse. I was gonna
unless you want us to.
Yeah, unless that's the ad. It's just, hold on, I was doing something I shouldn't have been doing this whole time.
I've listened to more than enough podcasts that at some point
let me see if this
we're sponsored by a sex toy company or something.
This is only for the people that are live here and can actually see us. For the audio listener, you can't. But we'll talk about whatever you want us to talk about. All right, cool. I can stomp on my foot and then do a dramatic close up whenever I want.
Yeah. Play the
like this. This is
that's great.
I need to have
good.
and then,
I'm jealous.
I'm gonna abuse this a lot. I could be like right here and be like, guess what? No, you look at here, right here, me, and then it happens. Oh man, I'm gonna use this all the time. I love this. This is my new favorite thing. Oh man, yeah, this is great. I'm gonna use this all the freaking time. All the freaking time. For the audio listener, every time my voice gets like that, just imagine a dramatic zoom into my eyes.
The camera has zoomed into his face.
I'm gonna do a few things because that can be modified, and they'll be because I could do music. I'm gonna probably do some sort of audio effect while that happens.
Oh yeah. We need if anybody out there is somebody who wants to compose like tiny little stinger music, hit us up because we have a bunch of dumb bits that we would love to
like no
behind.
Like I want to do there's so many little things I know I want to do. I just want to be here like, yeah, so we're there, and then do they fall in love? You hear them whisper sweet nothings in your ear. Do you hear anything or no?
I didn't hear anything.
Oh damn it. Okay, cool, that's fine. I had evil whispers really loud playing, like it just kind of went into the thing. So I'll put that in post. Oh man.
Okay. Now back to the show.
Back to the show.
Talking about stuff and things and stuff.
Yes.
We don't have a huge amount of time in the back half here. But how do you want to approach the back half here?
There are actually people here, which is fun to have. And if we weren't gonna really do a DM's quandary. But manager of the hearts can sometimes be a tricky situation, and we are not qualified. We said this before. We may not be qualified, but you know what? Who else is awake and asking for judgment scenarios right now? Nobody else is. So we would accept any sort of DM's quandary if anybody wanted to throw one out there. Otherwise, I know we have a whole list of funderful-tastic things that we can always throw in. But if I had to throw something out, since it's on this topic of relaxing and downtime, one way to do that is always some good eats. some fun foods, and it can really set the mood sometimes. Hunter, do you have a dish that you like to include whenever it's like you have the moment and it's non-threatening and you don't want to, like, no, low stakes? What's your favorite food to throw in a game?
Oh boy. Like just a regular food?
Yeah, if you want to make it romantic, you can. But I mean, like, just you have something to go like, this is the most love I put into a dish. This is how I get this is how I connect to my players and I love them most, by giving them the most tasty food. Do you have something that you throw at them?
Oh man. Do you have something in mind? I'm having a hard time thinking of anything off the top of my head.
I always, because I'm selfish, I throw in what I like, and it's always described as like the most wonderful smelling stew. It's always like a real hearty stew, and depending on where the situation is, I've played like some Icewind Dale games and some other more. If they're in like a poorer area or a situation where it is like more out there, I always describe it as it's got meat, and then like leave it ambiguous where they're like, well, what kind of meat? And I was like, roll and let's see if you find out or if you can tell. And then it's usually a mystery, but it's always tastes good. I always make it go, so like, if it's not your thing, it's not your thing, but it would taste conventionally really good and hearty and nice, and it fills your stomach up, and you can tell whoever made it with love. And it's just always this nice thing where it just tastes good. I've had one DM do it where it was clearly, have you ever heard of this? And this might sound disgusting to some people, where it's like, I don't know what the word is, but it's like a never ending pot where in real life,
stew.
Yeah, where it's just you're always letting the flavors, and it's like it's always that kind of situation where it's like the flavors always going to be building and always like super deep.
Yeah, most of my taverns have that.
Yeah, and it's just that's my like comfort food in my games.
Nice.
Where it's just like this is always really nice, safe, hearty, and almost like you feel safe eating it, and it's just a good clean meal. And it's always like a safe spot. Like if I'm like, if nobody's ever put it together, but I'm like, if this stew is here, you guys are okay. Like this is like a warm hug of delicious food where it's okay. And if times are hard, it's just like, no, there's none, or like it's just stale bread, and that's it. We do have somebody in the chat that said nachos, which we have. That's a good lead into. Make sure you join us. Not tomorrow. Not tomorrow.
Oh no, not
Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
We're not. We specifically didn't, because we didn't want to get yelled at by our wives. My wife who works. So I'm gonna just spend Valentine's Day just making crafts with my child, and just like, hey, look, here's hearts. We made hearts, yay. But anyway, other Tuesdays you can join us on the Greater Restorations channel, the GR crew, their Twitch, for Humblewood, our Humblewood game. It is the hymns. Is it Hymns of Humblewood? Oh my god, I had this like directly in front of me. But it is a dope game. We had our episode 1 where we introduced our characters. I play Hiroiko, a tough, not the tallest character, strong paladin chicken. And Hunter, do you want to give a little brief rundown of your character?
A refund?
A refund? Brief rundown. What did I said? Refund?
You said refund.
Whatever. A brief refund. A refrain. Give a brief refrain. So that means you gotta make it a poem now.
Oh man.
Hymns of Humblewood. Yes. You want to give a little something about your character?
Yeah. I play Maximus Bravado, who is a mouse folk. He is a swashbuckler rogue. And apparently he is a culinary enthusiast. We'll call him a foodie. That was not something I knew going into the first session, but it very quickly evolved into like, well, this is clearly a core trait of his.
Yes.
But yeah, if you want to hear me order nachos as a little mouse folk and then be taunted by Junie as a chicken.
That's an unfortunate thing that we've established as well, that I am a little shit of a little brother, and I egg on my big little brother, No, my little big brother. My little big brother. In real life, I have like somebody I consider my big sister, but she's like much smaller than me, so she was always my little big sister. But cute. Yeah, my little big brother, who I taunt and who easily goads me. Lots of culinary experiences. I accidentally totally shortchanged his nachos. They had unmelted slices of cheese on top and no other toppings.
Like stale tortilla,
yeah,
stale tortilla chips and Kraft.
It was an old man. An old man was making it, and I was just like, "Oh, come on, it's all right. You know, you don't have to go through all this. Let me just." It was just one of those awkward moments. I'm like, yeah.
Watch the episode.
Yeah, watch the episode. Yeah, but also our mom, sweet Rosie B, who's here, is just so great because also turned some juice into jelly. Not in the Jesus way, using gelatin, and just full blown in the Jesus way, like Jesus did that all the time.
Yeah,
but anyway, that's how we drink, by turning things into jelly, and it was a thing.
And join us, watch that. Not tomorrow, but join us next Tuesday for the next episode of it.
And if you're listening to this audio later, just Tuesdays, that's where it's live. It'll be and it'll be on their YouTube, I believe, afterwards too. So there's VODs and stuff. But thank you all for joining us. Like, you know, and if you're listening to this later, watching this, I thank you for taking the time and letting us join you on your drive or while you're cleaning or whatever. And happy Valentine's Day, even if it's not Valentine's. You know, we love you too, so it's fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm good at ending things. I'm good at segues.
I thought of a food.
Okay.
You would ask about foods in my world. There is a tavern in my home world that is run by a Rakshasa. And the things that he has there is he doesn't have a menu. He doesn't have anything that you order. You just choose if you want food or drink. And whichever one you order, the drinks all are tied to like specific emotions and stuff like that. Like if you drink this drink, it tastes like the first time that you like jumped on a trampoline, or stuff like that. And the food, when you order it, it comes out as a when it is delivered, it is just you don't have to specify anything. You don't have to do anything. It just pulls whatever that like one food that is like just intrinsically tied to like a really great memory, and like you'll never be able to have it anywhere ever again except here. And when you order it, it always tastes exactly how you remember it. It lives up to the expectations. I don't know if you've ever had something where you were like, I remember this thing being incredible, and then you get it as an adult and you're like, that's not good. It not only tastes like how it tasted, but it tastes how you remember it tasting. So it feels the same.
I have an ice cream that I do something similar with.
You fucker.
I don't know if I've ever talked about it, but I have this.
Oh man,
it's magical.
Yeah, I hear it's haunted.
Ice cream. This magical haunted dopamine ice cream.
Oh man, we should transition.
Yo, I feel real bad because Rosie just dropped something in the chat that I know this is not the title of Humblewood's first episode, but Sad Nachos and Gelatin is a real good title. And I feel bad because that is unfortunately a really good title.
Man. That's funny. That's really, really good.
Oh man.
But yeah, thank you guys so much for being here. We will be back on Friday morning, same time, 8 a.m. Eastern. We are here on Twitch. We'll also be, once we figure out how to do it, we'll also have it in podcast form. You can also check out the VODs over on YouTube at the Warlocks Waffles YouTube channel. But yeah, thank you to all of you who are here live. Thank you so much for being here. If you haven't already, join our Discord so you can stay up to date on any updates that we have that come out, any announcements. You can also, in that Discord, just drop us if you have like questions, or if you have an idea for Dungeon Master's Quandary or anything like that. Feel free to toss it in there. We're happy to have those on the show. until Friday, until next time.
Give us that sweet catchphrase sign off that you know we
same,
love, Hunter. Give us
the
that
thing we do every week, the same stuff.
What do you got for the people?
Until Friday, eat a whole chocolate bar by yourself. Be a little bit selfish and order food that you know other people will want, but have it all for you.
Damn.
And buy somebody, when you're out at a restaurant or a bar or something like that, buy another table just a plate of French fries. Until next time, I'm Hunter. That's Junie.
Yep, this is me. Yep.
And this is Warlocks and Waffles. Remember to embrace the nonsense, and we'll talk to y'all later.
Bye, everybody.